I'm Magnus Appelberg. I'm from Helsinki, Finland. And if I had a title, it would be the Chief Ice Hole. Chief Ice Hole of the Society of Ice Holes.
Okay.
How's that for a title?
So, would you like to share about your experiences that you went through in the last years and the work with ice, swimming and relaxation and this process that you went through?
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating because I've been studying yoga, meditation, anything that has to do with breath and movement for the last more than 30 years. And then suddenly I rediscovered the breath. I was in contact with, I went to a workshop with Simon Borg-Olivier, an Australian yoga teacher. He knows nothing about cold, but he knows everything about breath. And he introduced me to a phenomena called the Bohr it's after Friedrich Bohr phenomena, which is all about how the carbon dioxide in our bloodstream actually affects the dilation of our blood vessels, our respiration tract, and our nervous system, and about the oxidation, the breathing of the cells. So the more you breathe, the more oxygen you get in your blood. But the thing is, at the same time, you ventilate out the carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is needed for the cell to breathe. So for the oxygen molecule to come from the hemoglobin to the cell, it needs the presence of carbon dioxide. So the more carbon dioxide you get, the better your cells are breathing, even though your oxygen saturation might go down a little bit, which actually happens in yoga. If you would measure it, you would see it. And then we have this fascinating thing about the dilation of the blood vessels, and how it calms down the nervous system. So then I had an epiphany. The pranayama I've been doing is wrong. If we look how I would like to lower my pulse, my blood pressure, calm down, and recover in every cell. So I started to think again. My thought was, the longer the exhalation and the breath retention after the exhalation, the more benefit I will get. The longer my exhalation is, and if I add a breath retention after the exhalation, the higher my carbon dioxide level will go in the blood. And that will lower my pulse, my heart rate. That will relax me totally, so the autonomous nervous system will go strongly into the rest and digest side, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. So I really, to de-stress, you have to do this thing with your breath, to elongate your exhalation and add the breath retentions after the exhalation. So I was really interested in how to get super de-stressed and relaxed. And boy, did I do that. Came the next winter, and I noticed that, wow, I can stay longer in the cold water. Like I remember how painful it used to be, and now it was much less pain. But okay, I had practiced this my new way of breathing, which is not new. I mean, it's 100 years old principle I was just using, but for kind of experimenting on my own, and then I discovered, well, I can stay longer in the cold water. Big deal. Then came the next winter, and then I did some funny videos on Instagram and Facebook, and they got enormous view. I was like, this is nothing special really. But then during the filming, I was stayed like more than 5 minutes in the water, and I was like, well, this is something new. How long could I go? So there was a paper called me. We want to make an interview. Yeah, sure, but we'll do it in the ice hole. I'm not going there. Okay, but I will go there, and you stay on the bridge and interview me. So I stayed in the water for 15 minutes, just talking, and I was kind of surprised myself. What is this all about? And I got to the front page of a national newspaper. It's like, okay, what is actually so interesting about this? I'm doing yoga poses, dropping into the water, no big deal. And then I started doing longer stays in the cold water, and then suddenly people were interested. How do you do it? I said, it's simple. You have to breathe to relax. You have to kind of integrate body and mind, and repeat that in the cold. How hard can it get? So it's actually this, I use a fancy word, integrating body and mind, which is the main principle of vipassana meditation. So I'm using pranayama, relaxation, vipassana method, and then repeating that in the cold water, which is the ultimate test. Because you know, when you get into the cold water, the breath goes like your body gets flooded with stress hormones, your heart rate goes up, blood pressure spikes, and that is actually the same thing that happens in any fearful situation. So then I discovered, well, people, this is the way to a life without fear. So now I teach people how to breathe, how to relax, how to meditate, and how to repeat that in the cold. And it's like people who start the first time, they can stay like 20 seconds in the cold, and they go, and I try to tell them, just remember how we did breathe. Lost case. Next time they go in, like, okay, this is almost working. And the 6th time or the 10th time, they are like, and then suddenly go like, wow, I can stay here. It's not a problem. So they stay like 10 minutes, as if, and they were scared to start with. And what they tell me about is that no more pain. I mean, chronic pain patients, no more pain. And people who can't sleep. I slept like a log after the first time. I said, wow, I think we are onto something. And there was this lady who said, I need major changes in my life. I'm so freaked out of my job. And I don't know what to do. Okay, let's follow this process. And after the 3rd time, I got the message, I quit my job. I started talking to my mother. I really had to take better care of myself, of my health. It was like, wow, how's that for the 3rd time?
Big changes.
Big changes.
Fantastic.